Each man has brought with him his best gun, loaded to the muzzle, and tied on to the baggage against which I am leaning, the muzzle sticking out each side of my head, the flintlocks covered with cases or sheaths made of the black-haired skins of gorillas, leopard skin, and a beautiful bright bay skin, which I do not know, which they say is bush cow, but they call it a half dozen things bush cow. These guns are not the gas pipes I've seen up north, but decent rifles, which have had the rifling filed out, and the locks replaced by flintlocks and converted into muzzle loaders, and many of them have beautiful barrels. I find the Ajumba name for the beautiful shrub that has long bunches of red, yellow, and cream-colored young leaves at the end of its branches is Oba. I also learned that in their language, ebony and a monkey have one name. The forest on either bank is very lovely. Some enormously high columns of green are formed by a sort of climbing plant having taken possession of lightning-struck trees, and in one place it really looks exactly as if someone had spread a great green coverlet over the forest so as to keep it dry. No high land showing in any direction. Pagan tells me the extinguisher-shaped juju filled with medicine and made of iron is against drowning. The red juju for keep foot in path. Beautiful effect of a gleam of sunshine lighting up a red sandbank till it glows like the Nibelung gold. Indeed, the effects are Turneresque today, owing to the mist and the sun playing in and out among it. The sandbanks now have their cliffs to the north-northwest and northwest. At 9:30, the broad river in front of us is apparently closed by sandbanks which run out for the banks thus: yellow, south bank bright red, north bank yellow. Current running strong along the south bank. This bank bears testimony of this also being the case in the wet season, for a fringe of torn-down trees hangs from it into the river. Pasik, a town on north bank, interchanging the usual observations regarding our destination. The river seems absolutely barred with sand again, but as we paddle down it, the obstruction resolves itself into spits of sand from the north banks and the largest island in midstream, which also has a long tail, or train, of sandbank downriver. Here we meet a picturesque series of canoes, fruit and trade-laden, being poled up the stream, one man with his pole over one side, the other with his pole over the other, making a St. Andrew's cross as you meet them, end on. Most luxurious, charming, and pleasant trip this. The men are standing up, swinging in rhythmic motion their long, rich red wood paddles in perfect time to their elaborately melancholy minor-key boat song. Nearly lost with all hands. Sandbank palaver. Only when we were going over the end of it, the canoe slipped sideways over its edge. River deep, bottom sand and mud. This information may be interesting to the geologist, but I hope I shall not be converted by circumstances into a human sounding apparatus again today. Next time she strikes, I shall get out and shove behind. We are now skirting the real north bank, and not the bank of an island or islands as we have been for some time heretofore. Lovely stream falls into this river over cascades. The water is now rough in a small way, and with the width of the river great, but it soon is crowded again with wooded islands. There are patches and wreaths of lovely vermilion flowering bush rope decorating the forest, and now and again clumps of a plant that shows a yellow and crimson spike of bloom, very strikingly beautiful. We pass a long tunnel in the bush, quite dark as you look down it, evidently the path to some native town. The south bank is covered, where the falling waters have exposed it, with hippo grass. Terrible lot of mangrove lives about, although we are more than 100 miles above the mangrove belt. River broad again, tending west-southwest, with a broad, flattened island with attribute of sandbanks in the middle. The fairway is along the south bank of the river. Gray Shirt tells me this river is called Orembo Vongo, or Small River, so as to distinguish it from the main stream of the Ogwe, which goes down past the south side of Lembari Island, as well I know after that canoe affair of mine. A zingo now bears due north, and native mahogany is called okuma, past villages called Weli on the north bank. It looks like some gypsy caravans stuck on poles. I expect that village has known what it means to be swamped by the rising river. It looks as if it had, very hastily in the middle of some night, taken to stilts, which I am sure, from their present rickety condition, will not last through the next wet season, and then some unfortunate spirit will get the blame of the collapse. I also learned that it is the natal spot of my friend Cabina, the carpenter from Andante. Now, if some of these good people I know would only go and distinguish themselves, I might write a sort of county family history of these parts, but they don't, and I fancy won't. For example, the entrance, or should I say exit, of a broadish little river is just away on the south bank. If you go up this river, it runs southeast, you get to a good-sized lake. In this lake, there is an island called Adole. Then, out the other side of the lake, there is another river which falls into the Ogwe mainstream, but that is not the point of the story, which is that on the island of Adole, Nguta, the interpreter, first saw the light. Why he ever did, there or anywhere, heaven only knows. I know I shall never want to write his biography. On the western bank end of that river, going to Adole, there's Nagali town, notable for a large quantity of fine white ducks and a clump of Indian bamboo. My informants say no white man ever lived for this place. So I suppose the ducks and bamboo have been imported by some black trader whose natal spot this is. The name of this village is Wanderregwoma. Stuck on a sandbank, I flew out and shoved behind, leaving Nguta to do the balance performances in the stern. This Orembo Vongo divides up just below here, I am told, when we have re-embarked into 3 streams. One goes into the main Ogwe opposite Ashuka in the Nakami country. Nakami country commences at Ashuka and goes to the sea, one into the Ngumbi, one into the Nhuni, all in the Orunga country. Azingo now lies northeast, according to Gray Shirt's arm. On our river there is here another broad, low island, with its gold-colored banks shining out, seemingly barring the entire channel, but there is really a canoe channel along by both banks.